What I want is a capable car that will get me around Australia. I don't need the latest bells and whistles. The interior and things around it might not be great. Biggest mistake, hands down, please, trying to warn everyone. It's a statement. I know that this car is capable as it is, so I don't want to go over the top. I thought it'd be kind of fun to look back on the 2 videos I put out about obtaining the car when it was brand new and fresh and the intentions I had, because I think I had a very different viewpoint. So I'm going to be reacting to my old videos. It is a beast of a car. It can take you wherever you want. That's true. This car can take you absolutely anywhere, and even with the modifications that I've put on it, which we'll talk about. The anxiety that I got driving, seeing the kilometers rack up. I'm at 60,000 kilometers in Nila in just over a year, and it's a bit too much. And I, unfortunately, for the first 30,000 kilometers was just driving it around like an everyday car. So that was a big boo-boo. The sad part about Australia is the distances between everything. So you still have to drive a lot of highways to get to those really, really, really remote places. And I think whenever I'm driving this car on the highway, it does stress me out because it's not made for that. Slowly, we will be upgrading the car. It wasn't slow. I went full steam, and it was 5 months of my life just working to get this car on the road. It was not slowly. So let me tell you what I intend to do with this car. If you utilize every single space of this car really well, oh my God, it does things. You would be surprised how much this car can fit, the amount of storage space it can have. And if you're going for long trips, you absolutely need it. Like, a lot of this giant first compartment is used just for recovery gear and spare parts for the car and tools and so forth. So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to that side of things. You need all the space you can have. One of the biggest regrets that I don't have is having a pop top. That's just increased the space that I have in this car tenfold, because it's literally added a place for me to sleep outside of all the storage spaces that I have to have. This world makes you into a minimalist. You have to become a minimalist, and that is great. Brings me back to my roots. True, very true. Still, my compartment for clothing is very small, even though there's so much space because you need so much recovery gear and so forth. So I do have a small amount of clothes. It's still pretty significant though, I gotta say. Like, you wouldn't expect to have so many things. There is definitely a part of me that loves fashion a bit more than this, so sometimes it feels a bit sticky that I don't have everything that I would like to have. But again, you have to make some compromises for different chapters in your life, and that's okay. I'm really trying, and I'm not here to just put a bad name to the overlanding community. I intend wholeheartedly to understand how this beast works, understand how to take care of her really well. I'm not someone that comes from a background of car lovers. We really don't. My family's not like that. So I'm learning from the ground up, trying to figure out how to do this thing of overlanding. I do actually think that I gave the 4x4 community a bit of a bad name because it became so much about cars and not about the overlanding experience itself. And I think that's one of those wankers that comes into the space and is like, look at my car, instead of what this is all about. Some mistakes I've already made with the Troopy. I didn't get an underbody spray, protective spray under the car the second that I bought it. Still want to do that. Still want to protect the car from the salt. Haven't done it yet, and I'm starting to already see like surface rust coming up, which is really devastating because the Troopies are known to have a lot of rust. The other thing that I really wish I didn't do was to get this bull bar. Like, this one is the Toyota bull bar, and I really sticks out so much. That's true. I will say I wish I got no bull bar, because I actually like the no bull bar look on Troopies, and I ended up getting, as you know, a bull bar, and that's what kickstarted everything. I was doing a conversion with Headspace, and Ollie looked at the bull bar. He was like, are you going to keep that bull bar? And something switched in me, and that was the moment where I just went full steam ahead and I just started ordering everything. I will not fault myself and say, like, this car is pristine, it's beautiful, it's a gorgeous car. It is gorgeous, and it literally started because I hated the bull bar so much, but I'm still wondering why it went from I hate the bull bar to now looking like this. Not enough fridge space for what it is that I need. So this is going to be transformed into a probably double compartment fridge with a freezer on one side and much more storage. Thrilled about having so much more storage in the fridge and the freezer. I love the fridge freezer combo. It's a 90 litre and I'm thrilled with it. I would not change that one. And also having so much more space for dry food has been a huge lifesaver. Let's talk about the future additions that I'm going to be adding to Neela. Awning. The bigger, the better. Water storage, of course. Oh, it's so nice to look back on little Sorelli on all the things she wanted to do and then it's done. Awning, the bigger, the better. Thank you so much to Clever Shade. I love the awning and how easy it is to put up. Water storage, 90 litre plus a 49 litre. So much water storage. Thrilled about that. Have run out of water previously, not a good feeling. So if I had less storage of water, big mistake. And roof racks, depending on if I'm going to pop the top or if I'm just going to have a pop-up tent. So suggestions for that one, please, because it's a huge price discrepancy. Yeah, no regrets. I will be a little bit honest. I think there is a bit of a concern that I have manipulated the structure of the car itself. Rooftop tent might have been a little bit better to just keep the structure of the car so there was less moving parts and less things could get damaged. It was a humongous expense to put the roof on. It is so much more space, so much more comfortable. Having the penthouse at the top, having the views that you have. I don't regret any of that stuff, but the future me is already thinking about the cost of having to maintain it, I suppose. And there is a part of me that's like, oh, dang. But I did install it because I wanted to be able to escape as soon as possible if I needed to and just jump down from the bed and get into the driver's seat if I needed to. Whereas a rooftop tent, I'm not able to do that. So that is the reason why I went with it. And of course I went with Headspace because it's the sexiest rooftop pop top that I've ever seen in my life. So no regrets. So now let's talk about some mistakes on the new updated version of Neela and what I would have done differently in case you are in the process of building out your car and you need some suggestions on what you need, what you don't need. The biggest mistake, hands down, please, trying to warn everyone about this, do not do this, is having an induction stove in a car. Absolutely huge regret. It takes about 20% battery with each meal, massive. And I only have one battery at the moment and I'm definitely gonna have to install a second one and or replace this to be a gas stove. So I need to find a gas stove that will fit perfectly into this spot. It's so dumb. Yeah, it's convenient. You can boil water really fast. This also helps you boil water really fast and that is a fraction of the cost and it doesn't create all the problems. And this, because of all the electricity and how much power it also uses, also almost burnt down my car. So I would just stay the fuck away from induction stove. I can't tell you enough how passionate I feel about that topic. Otherwise also, I have installed a hot water system inside the car and I highly don't recommend that. I think it is the dumbest idea and it was a luxury thing that I wanted to have. It sits right next to the electricity cupboard with all the electronics that make this car go round. And it has leaked before, and so it's been disconnected. I have not plugged it in, and still it has had some leaking problems. It is just a pain in the ass. Don't recommend it. Do not recommend having any water inside. Just stay away. Because, as some of you know, this is where the shower head was meant to be coming out, and that's right above the electrical components. So the shower head leaks, which it has, and it did. That's why I never used it, and it was going straight down into that section. And plus, you don't want mold in your car. SOS, absolutely not. It's going to destroy everything. You have to pull everything out and start again. So that's silly. One thing I don't regret actually is having not put up the windows. What are they called? I'm so glad I didn't put it in. Absolutely not necessary. Some people love it, so good for them. I love that I've been able to keep it very streamlined. Go windows. As much as I love the interior in many ways, and I'm really grateful for the storage, the daybed, for example, has come in handy for even just separating all the stuff that I keep in here, like guitars. Have slept in it a couple of times, watched some movies just on the couch down here. Yeah, I love it in many ways, but there is a bit of sadness around it, I think. Makes it sad is that there is no customization. It feels very cookie cutter, I suppose. Like this whole car I've gone with done by someone else, and there's no element of my own unique style that I've been able to put in here. Is that, yeah, it looks nice, but it also looks generic, and I think it feels like a show car instead of home. Yeah. Cannot tell you enough though how grateful I am that I've gone with a continuous color of beige. even though it does feel a little bit like a show car, you can add little elements that make it homey. So I'm really grateful for the couch area, the couch color, even brown, having a little extra cushion there, a fake plant and a coffee machine that I've never used, but it just makes it feel a little bit more homey. And the gray carpet, having the continuous beige also has made it so much easier on the eyes. By having, say, like black, it would have made the space so dark. Like I can't even imagine having black or white. I think it just doesn't go with the rest of the car. So even though it is boring, it is also a very neutral background. And the kitchen layout, like having everything here, plus this table just here, it's for this being a kitchen in the outdoors, it's not really missing anything. It's extremely comfortable. You have all your cutlery in here and all the things you need to use quite a lot. You have all your chopping stations here. You have pots and pans in there. You have extra food storage there. It's really, really great. Outback Gear Solution bags, which have so much extra storage, and I use them every single day. They're such a good addition. No regret having to drill into the car for them. Water right there. Nah, the kitchen is, I can't, except for this fucker. I actually love every part of it, including the amazing snap shades that go on over the windows. It's very manly, and I wish there was like more elements of girliness in it, to be honest. Maybe the other things that I would have done was add another solar panel somewhere, just to take on a bit more light, because you might notice the car is really empty. A lot of it had to be pulled apart because trying to dry it so that the mold doesn't spread if there's any mold because of the leak. And also the fridge just recently went off. It was ridiculously overcast for a whole bunch of days recently, and I went away, and during that time the battery went down, so the fridge turned off and all my food went off. So I had to pull the fridge out, clean it, gag a lot when I was doing that. It was gross. So an extra solar panel and an extra battery would be a lifesaver. Oh, I didn't speak about the tires yet. ROH rims with the Predator tires, no regrets, freaking love them. They have gone places. There's never been ever any struggle whatsoever. She weighs 3.85 ton when fully loaded, and these tires have been able to take me absolutely anywhere. So the other thing, I should have upgraded the GVM to 4.2, definitely. Very glad I got 2-inch lift. Any more than that, even though it's illegal in a bunch of states anyway to go higher than that. So grateful that I didn't have the option, I don't think, in New South Wales. 2-inch lift, absolutely plenty. Plenty, good on fuel-ish still. The fuel, I used to, very first time I drove her, she went 770 kilometers, I'm pretty sure. She can go 610-ish per tank. So it's definitely gone down a lot. Yeah, it's definitely gone down a lot. I did end up getting spotties in the end, which look kind of interesting. I always say she looks like a little bit of a piggy. I mean, come on. It's a little bit of a piggy situation, so I don't think aesthetically it made it beautiful. They have been completely necessary. It does get really dark in Australia at nighttime, like everywhere else. And being able to see kangaroos that love to jump out in front of cars, definitely needed spotties. The fact I can just lay down fully in the car on a couch, totally game changer. Oh no, I'm so tired. I want to go to bed. Okay, no problem. Ta-da! This is what came with Headspace, and it's okay. Added a topper. Better. Added 2 air mattresses, camping air mattresses. That made the difference. What I also like is that over time, packing down becomes really straightforward and simple. At the start, it feels a little bit confusing. It feels a little bit overwhelming. Huge thank you to everybody that has contributed to making this car what it is. Everybody that's worked on it, maintained it, looked after it. I am eternally grateful. All the links for the car and everything that I've used is in the description below. In the future, I think, would I have gone for like a 4-wheel drive van? There's a new one on the market apparently. Maybe, because I think the constriction of the size, especially when I have someone accompanying me on the trip, it just gets really squishy, especially if you have surfboards and guitars. It's just squishy. So having like a van where everything's put in its space and you get to the bedroom at any point in time, I think that's still part of my dream that I really have. I'm kind of thrilled by how much more I know about cars. I'm not an expert still by any means, and I definitely rely on people that know much more about cars and their expertise to run me through how everything works. But I feel comfortable in this world now. And when I'm talking about inverters and different gadgets that are needed to live this kind of a lifestyle, I feel like I have the knowledge actually, which is really cool. So something that was so daunting before now feels a lot better. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, time to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is a magnificent tool for business owners and artists like myself to create a beautiful online presence that actually gets results. I'm so excited to tell you about some of the amazing features of Squarespace. There is design intelligence. Introducing design intelligence from Squarespace, combining 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your strongest creative potential. Design intelligence empowers anyone to build a beautiful, more personalized website tailored to their unique needs and craft a bespoke digital identity to use across one's entire online presence. Squarespace Payments. Squarespace Payments is the easiest way to manage your payments in one place with Squarespace. Onboarding is fast and simple. Get started with just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away. Plus, give your customers more ways to pay with popular methods like these ones. That's a lot. Sell content. Squarespace makes it easy to sell access to content on your website like online courses, blogs, videos, and memberships. Earn recurring revenue by gating your content behind a paywall. Simply set up a price and choose whether to charge a one-time fee or subscription for access. And these are just some of the amazing features of Squarespace. There's plenty more. If you'd like to find out more for yourself, go to squarespace.com. And when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Sorel to get 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring. And to you guys watching, thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.